We will make a lot of decisions on November 5th. We will not just choose the next president of the United States. There will be a number of vacancies that will have to be filled. One of them is the position of Circuit Court of Cook County in the 12th sub-circuit. And we have a great pleasure of hosting today one of the candidates for that position, Mr. Alon Stein. Sir, thank you so much for finding time and visiting with us.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're already a lawyer. What made you run for the position of judge?
Well, I've always wanted to be a judge, and I've been arbitrating for the Circuit Court of Cook County for the last 11 years, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do it for the $100 a case they pay me. I do it because I love it, and for a few hours, I get to make decisions on behalf of the court. And an opportunity arose. I'm running for the Grace Dickler vacancy. Judge Grace Dickler retired. And I was contacted by her, and I was told that, I believe you'd be a great person to fill my shoes now that I'm retiring. And I'm endorsing you. So I'm running for the Grace Dickler vacancy, and I'm endorsed by Judge Grace Dickler, retired Judge Grace Dickler. And so I now will have an opportunity to do what I like, what I love as an arbitrator, but now full-time as a judge, and I couldn't pass that up.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have endorsement of a judge who is leaving that seat, that speaks volume. And you have a number of endorsements, and among others, Polish American Police Association gave you the official support. But what other organizations officially supported you? So
I got an official letter from the Italian American Police Association, which is a written endorsement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm endorsed by I'm supported by the Asian American Law Enforcement Organization, the Chicago Federation of Labor, all sorts of groups. So I'm also endorsed by traditional Democratic politicians and retired Republican politicians like Sidney Mathias, who is a former state representative out of Buffalo Grove.
Because judges should be neutral. Judges should give the rulings independently of their political views and of their political support. And you are able to gather that support from both sides of the aisle. Am I correct?
And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that I'm getting support from groups that traditionally support Democratic
Mm-hmm.
candidates, and also groups that traditionally support Republican candidates. And I think that's a testament to the fact that over the years, I've represented clients in the private sector that come across every single part of the political spectrum, and I've able to handle that in a very professional way. And I think that neutrality that I've displayed now as an arbitrator for the last 11 years, I think that's also helped gather that support from everybody.
Yeah. We're at Polish Daily News. You have the support of Polish American Police Association, but your connection to Polish community do not stop there. You have Polish roots, Polish background. You're actively involved with Chicago Advocate Society, which is a Polish American Bar Association. Let's go into those Polish details of your resume.
So let's start with the Advocate Society.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an officer with the Advocate Society. I'm the historian for the year, which when you move up the ladder, that could place me to be the president of the Advocate
Mm-hmm.
Society in a few years. Don't know how many years,
but my fingers crossed.
Yes, but there's definitely, you go up the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Coincidentally, I'm also not only recommended by the Advocate Society, I'm also endorsed by the Advocate Society, which is one of the few, I think it's the only bar association that officially endorses candidates. So I'm endorsed by the Polish American
Mm-hmm.
Bar Association, the Advocate Society. One of the reasons why I joined the Advocate Society is my grandparents on all four sides hail from Poland.
Wow.
Yes, and so I have Polish roots.
Have you traveled there?
I have. I've been to Krakow.
Nice.
I traveled there in the winter, which is probably when most Americans don't travel there because it's pretty cold. But I enjoyed it because there weren't a lot of tourists. It was everybody there that I met was from Poland and from Krakow. And I'm waiting to come back. I have a 9-year-old and 6-year-old kids. Right now, the jet lag is going to be difficult for them, but maybe in a few years, that's probably the place to return. I enjoyed it. Maybe we'll go to Warsaw too.
Yeah, please.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about your experience with law. You're extremely experienced lawyer. But I want to ask you, what law do you practice? Is your field of expertise narrow or wide? Where have you argued cases? Let's talk about your experience as a lawyer.
So I own my own firm in Northbrook, Illinois, called Stein Law Offices. I think that's significant. We want to have more judges from the private sector that understand running a business. Because it's not just practicing law. I have to pay the bills. I have to pay employees and contractors and things like that. And that's a dimension that I would bring to the bench. In the private sector, things move fast. There's accountability. And I want to bring those traits to the bench as well. Now, I represent, my typical client is a small business, a medium-sized business in various industries. I represent healthcare, mechanics, sporting goods, you name the small business. I've probably represented them over the last 23 years. The value I bring to them is I give them a broad base of experience, personal connection. I'm available to my clients now, basically. I don't want to say 24/7, but all the time. And I have a wide practice. I handle everything from A to Z. And I've argued before the highest courts. I've done hundreds of trials in the Circuit Court of Cook County. I'm also licensed in Wisconsin, so southern Wisconsin. A lot of my clients were moving to Arizona, and so I got licensed in Arizona. I've done trials in Arizona. What I'm very proud of is I got to argue before the Supreme Court of Wisconsin, and I got to argue before the Supreme Court of Arizona. And I also got to argue before the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, which is one step removed from the United States Supreme Court.
That's great. Yeah, that's a wonderful experience. And I think that perspective that you bring as a business owner, you know exactly what trials and tribulations business owners are going through.
Well, one of the complaints that business owners have of the court system, and I hear this all the time, is I'll go to court and I show up, we're prepared, we've done everything that we're supposed to do for the court, and the other side didn't, and the case gets continued repeatedly. And I have to come back and explain to the client why they had to pay for me to come to court, and nothing happened repeatedly. And that's something that costs the client real money. And one of the things that I would like to do as a judge is increase the efficiency of the court system, because I have sympathy and empathy for what the business owner goes through when there's a lot of unnecessary delays, because justice delayed is justice denied, but also justice delayed means more money is paid by the client and the public. We gotta fix that.
Absolutely. And you're also a member of the community. You live in your sub-circuit, you have a wonderful family. You mentioned your two boys, and that also gives you additional very important perspective about what's important for the families of Cook County. What are your priorities in those areas?
So I'm raising my family in Northbrook. I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old boys, Ari and Oren. Ari is 9, Oren is 6. I want my family to live, and I want our families to live in a safe environment. Safety is very important to me, and having talked to the police associations and they discussed this with me, I got their support and endorsement, because we want to have a community that's safe. We're involved in everything in the community, from my kids' baseball. So my son Ari plays travel baseball for he's a talented.
He's a good player.
Let's get it from my wife, But then we got some, very talented baseball family. Ari plays first base for the 10U, awesome. So travel baseball team for the Spartans. Oren is going to try out next year. I know he's going to make it. He's very talented as well. And we're involved in pretty much anything the community has to offer, from baseball to my wife sits on the PTA board, and I sponsor activities for the PTA. Over the years, my business is involved with the Northbrook Chamber of Commerce. These are all very important things in the community. I will also say my wife and I are in the middle of they call it the Citizens Police Academy. where we're learning about the Northbrook Police Department firsthand. I did a ride-along with the police officer last week, and that was exciting.
That also gives you some.
It was amazing. Yeah, while we were driving around the neighborhood, we got to hear calls from the command, basically saying there was a big fight that was happening in the middle of the Marianos, and we got to drive over there. Yeah, it was when we got to hear dispatch. It was very interesting. You know,
and I'm happy to hear that, and I'm happy that your vision is aligned with the vision of our law enforcement. Those people who have contact with crime on a first-hand basis, right?
Well, yes, and as a business owner and as a lawyer representing business, I work with local law enforcement all the time, because if it weren't for the law enforcement that we have in our communities, our business community is not going to thrive. Yeah. We need to have a strong partnership between the business community and the police and law enforcement, because without that partnership, we don't have a strong business community.
Yeah, the society really cannot function properly. Back in Poland, all the judges are appointed. Right. Here in the United States, we elect those judges. What should we, as a voters, should be looking for in judges that we elect? What qualities are the most important?
You want a judge who is fair, who's honest, who's a good listener, who's active in the community, who understands ordinary people, who deals with the public on a daily basis. And I have all of those traits. I mean, as a private practice attorney, I have to deal with and listen to problems that my clients have, and they happen on the spot. I'll get a phone call and I have to drop everything and listen to my clients and solve the problem and look at things from both sides. You don't want someone who's basically only practiced one side of the law for their entire career. You want someone who's been on the plaintiff side and the defense side. So like if my clients get sued, I defend them. And if my clients need to sue someone, I prosecute. Yeah. And it's very important to have someone from that background. Also, it's good to have someone who has experience as being a hearing officer. I've been arbitrating for many years, so when I win and I'm on the bench, I'll be able to hit the ground running because I have experience doing this. You want someone with a broad base of experience, someone who's done everything from A to Z, not someone who's only handled one area of the law. It's very important to have people from the private practice who've owned a business and have that background. Now, coincidentally, I'm running with two other people.
Yes, and I was just about to ask you about the slate of candidates that you're running with.
Right, so there's 3 openings. It's very rare. In the 12th subcircuit, which I'm running, which includes Northbrook, Wheeling, Palatine, Rolling Meadows, Arlington Heights, Prospect Heights, the Cook County side of Buffalo Grove, Inverness, portions of Glenview, portions of Hoffman Estates, and a little sliver of Mount Prospect. And Prospect Heights as well as in there. There are 3 judges who retired. I'm running for the Grace Dickler spot. That's on the ballot. It's punch 91. Judge Frank Andreo is a sitting judge. Right now he's an associate judge. He's an appointed judge, actually, and he's running to become a full circuit judge. Elected judges are full circuit. Appointed judges, generally speaking, are what we call associate judges. And then Jack Costello is running for the 3rd spot. Frank is ballot 93. Jack Costello is 95. All of us have business experience. So I'm a trial attorney for 22 years. I'm a small business owner. Frank Andreo, before he became a judge, was also a business owner. He owned his own law practice as well. And Jack Costello, who's a prosecutor now, before he was a lawyer, he owned a painting business. Wow, so it's very important to have that private practice, private business experience.
Great. Are you meeting with a lot of voters right now? Are you canvassing? And if yes, what are people telling you? What are people asking about?
Well, I'm doing all these things. One of the most interesting things that people say to me when I knock on their door is, I can't believe I'm meeting someone who's running for judge. No one's ever knocked on my door before. I've never met anybody. Wow. And that's the first comment. And then we tell them about what it is we do, and they are very interested in learning about judicial candidates and what it is we do and what it is that we plan to do on the bench, which has increased the efficiency of the courts.
Perfect. I believe safety is something that
safety. So basically, so safety is a big issue. I would say the main concerns people have are safety, community, experience, and the bar ratings are huge. And so for me, I pass out these cards, and I usually hand out these nail files. And people ask me why the nail file, and I joke around that you file things in court. But in all seriousness, people are interested in our bar ratings, and all of the bar associations have found us recommended or qualified. And I put this up front in center. It's very, very important that that's the case. And then also our community involvement and safety.
Wonderful. Mr. Stein, where can people find more information about you, about your campaign? We could direct them to a couple of websites.
So on my campaign, you can go to Alon Stein For Judge. You can read all about the political aspect. I also tell people to go to my law firm website. I own my own firm, Stein Law Offices in Northbrook, law-stein.com. And you can read about everything that I've done as an attorney and what it is and the broad range of experience that I have. If you go to the website, you'll also see a photo of me arguing before the Supreme Court of Wisconsin. I have several YouTube videos, and so you can go to YouTube and search for Alon Stein For Judge, and I have 3 videos, and you can watch all 3.
You'll also see those videos on our social media outlets, so stay tuned. There's also going to be a wonderful interview that Mr. Stein did with the Polish Daily News, so be on the lookout for that. And if you live in the 12th subcircuit of Cook County, Northbrook, Wheeling, Palatine, Arlington Heights, Rolling Meadows, Buffalo Grove, Prospect Heights, I know there is plenty of Poles living there. Punch 91. Please support Mr. Alon Stein. He's going to be a great judge. I can tell you that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure for you for this interview. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, November 5th.
Thank you so much. Thank you.